systems that have a lot of tropes. I used to love watching movies, like all kinds of movies from all different cultures. I still do, to be fair. But often you find that they've got the same narrative. You could watch any movie, like I watch Bollywood movies all the time, and then I watch Nollywood movies, then I'll be watching a Hollywood movie, and there's the same tropes. And I think they're these stories that we've been told, and they're so unconscious that it's hard to even realize that it's a bias. And everyone has them to some degree. And even people who are othered in the system, like let's say you're Black in a group where there's all white people, and maybe you're a woman in a space that's all men and engineers and so on, you'll notice that you also have those ideas, that you're also like self-inhibiting, self-limiting. So I realized it's not just about the organizations, it's about the wider collective consciousness. And I guess maybe that sounds a bit woo-woo, but I think that's the real thing that we're trying to shift. It's not just individual consciousness, it's collective consciousness. And that could be in the media we watch. So maybe the media we watch needs to be a little bit more nuanced in the portrayal of people. Even I always used to love watching Scandal. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a great show with Olivia Pope's the character, but she's played by Kerry Washington, the actress. And she acts as a handler for the US, presidency, and like all the behind the scene of where power happens, right? And I love Shonda Rhimes, who's kind of the mind behind it all, and her intent was to change the narrative that was negative around Black women, maybe being poor performing or hypersexual, or some negative tropes that have been throughout history that have been useful to control narratives and control people, to one that was powerful and empowering. You can do it. You're so successful, like Black excellence, Black girl magic, etc., etc. But then the irony is that also creates another issue that's the only representation that exists. That's the only way someone can exist in spaces, is to be thoroughly excellent. When actually, if I look around in spaces that I exist in, there are people who don't have my qualifications, my level of experience, whatever, and we're compared like because I have to be extraordinary to be in the same space as someone who's just exists by themselves. And I think that often creates other problems. So I think it's changing collective consciousness, and media has a part to play in that, but it's also getting that media right. And even when we do, even if the intent is right, like the example of Shonda Rhimes and Scandal and Olivia Pope, we often create other problems, and we don't know what the unintended consequences are. So it's more like we won't get it right, but we can iterate through it. Just like a scientist, you try it, you experiment, maybe it doesn't work. But with consciousness and people collectively, it takes a long time for that change to happen. So when you get it wrong, by the time you got everyone to think something new, it could be 50 years, and you've got to kind of pivot on that. But I think I wouldn't say it's just organizations. I'd say it's more about collective consciousness and changing that deep internal story that we all have globally picked up over time that seems to show up everywhere. And it kind of is the real motivator behind our actions, but the kind of unconscious one that's actually motivating us and moving us forward, but not in the way that we want to.